The edge of the woods here looks nearly impenetrable, but I know that the deer go through. There are paths made from deer. What I'm wondering about, partly in thinking about making a real path that a cart could follow, is will that change the behavior of the wildlife? So now I'm looking out through that same edge, and I've come into the woods. These are the planted woods, almost all the same kind of tree, and almost all the same age, and in fact in rows. It's a very different kind of a place, but really nice in its own way. Now I'm at the edge between this woods and the not planted woods next door, the older woods. I'm going to go over that stone wall. And here there are ferns and some really good-sized trees. And more mosquitoes. Here's a little miniature island with a small tree growing on it. So in this tiny little woodland, there's all kinds of evidence of life going around its circle. I'm following the little wet place. It's not really a creek right now, or a brook, that leads into the end of the pond. Huge ferns. A little openness here where the brook goes through. There's a boulder that's a little world all its own. It's pretty spongy underfoot here, so still a fair amount of moisture even in the middle of the summer. This is the downhill end of that same stone wall. Seems to stop right here. There's a lovely little grassland here in the middle of where the brook flows. There's ruins of a birch that has come on hard times. Still some of it going. And some kind of pump parts. So now I'm at the edge between the woods on the other side of the brook and the field. Obviously this is an exit and entrance used by deer, and it may not show on the video, but I'm following a deer path right along the edge of the field here. Place where it might show better that they've traveled here. Staying along the edge of the woods, being safe. I'm up at the road, I'm going to do a pan down to the barn and the house. Now that I'm across the road, I'm following the deer path still in the field with the big tree and the mountains just peeking up over the rim of this hill. It turned out that the meadow was just full of nesting birds, I think bobolinks, who were very alarmed. And here's the amazing structure of the tree. Oh, here's a place where the deer have clearly bedded down for the night or for a nap. Following this tree row down to that corner where I'll cross through a little woods. But first I'm stopping for a good shot of Mount Blue. They've got a really wonderful crop of goldenrod in the field over there. And also in this field over here. And a wonderful crop of hills over to the south. And of course black-eyed Susans. I'm in the bottom corner there, looking up at the hill. And I'm going to cross into the woods here. This is looking back out through that edge towards the meadow. All those ferns that grow at the edge and the hemlocks. Right next to the, this is right next to the place where I took that shot. On the aerial photo, this is just a little sliver of woods, but clearly venerable and hummocky and full of the evidence of generations of trees. I don't know how to estimate how long this one's been down. Each of these separate habitats has its own version of ferns, like a vocabulary. So coming out to the edge of that little woods, where I'm going to go back out into the field again, there are birches. There are things that need a little more light than they get right in the middle of the woods. And now I've come out into this corner, the other field, where the goldenrod is as tall as I am, and there's buzzing, buzzing, buzzing everywhere. There's a beech tree in this corner. So I've been assuming that this blaze means that Jeannie's property comes just into the edge of the woods, to the old edge, and now there's stuff grown out from that edge. But the other side of these big trees along the edge is clearly much younger woods, grown over meadow, I would guess, full of birches. Well, it's very clear why the sound of this meadow is the sound of buzz, buzz, buzz. I've turned to look back at that corner from inside it inside the field. So now I'm looking at that little sliver of woods I was in before, which tapers off. And that's the young growth forest with the beeches and birches just behind the lime trees. Although it gets mowed every year, this whole area back here is so protected. You can hear the road, but you can't see the road. And so there's huge evidence of deer activity everywhere. Not just paths, but whole trampled down areas. This is a lower place in the field and wet. Even in the aerial photograph you can tell the difference here. And it's got different plants. No goldenrod down here. A farmer left a full load of chicken manure here and never spread it, sort of. But things are starting to colonize it and to grow around the edges. So this is the back of what used to be a field when I was a kid and has now all grown up, and it really is impenetrable. I think you'd have to machete your way through. I'm very curious what you'd find if you did that. I'm trying to get a shot of how moving through the grass and startling grasshopper after grasshopper after grasshopper. I'm gonna try to work my way through into a view of the tiny little pond. I think those are some kind of warbler. So there's this whole series of secret places that the way we live in the house might have in the back of our minds, but a lot of it is still secret. So I'm gonna pan from a little glimpse of the pond around to the lane right over to the road. It's very close to the road. So there's a glimpse of the house. And lots of blackbird noise. The blackbirds like the pond, I guess.